Welcome to Coastal Reviews Podcast.
The next guest has gone from concerned parent, like many of you, to legal activist, not only confronting the woke teachers in his district, but taking it one step further. Ian Pryor looked into the school district in his hometown, Loudoun County, Virginia, and got his hands on some of their internal documents, including part of a presentation delivered by the Loudoun County Equity Director. Now, it's hard to read the fine print, but it's essentially a tool to help brainwash teachers into believing that white Christians are privileged. So everyone else is, of course, by default, oppressed. Ian Pryor, the father who uncovered these documents, joins me now. Ian, thank you so much. I've heard a lot about you. I've seen a great deal of your work.
North Korea lashed out at the United States on Sunday in a series of statements, saying recent comments from Washington are proof of hostile intent that require a response from Pyongyang. The statements, put out by state news agency KCNA, come after the White House on Friday said US officials had completed a months-long review of North Korean policy. One saw a foreign ministry spokesman accusing Washington of insulting the dignity of the country's supreme leadership by critiquing North Korea's human rights record. The unnamed spokesman added that the remarks show the US is, quote, girding itself up for an all-out showdown with North Korea and will be answered accordingly. In a separate statement, Kwon Jong-gun, Director General of the Foreign Ministry's US Affairs Department, cited Biden's first policy speech to Congress on Wednesday. The new president had said nuclear programs in North Korea and Iran posed threats that would be addressed through diplomacy and stern deterrence, something Kwon branded illogical and an encroachment on North Korea's right to self-defense. He added that US talk of diplomacy is aimed at covering up its hostile acts, and its deterrence is just a means for posing nuclear threats to North Korea. Kwon concluded that North Korea would, quote, be compelled to press for corresponding measures now Biden's policy has become clear, adding that with time the US will find itself in a very grave situation. In a third statement on Sunday, Kim Yo-jong, a senior official in the government and sister of leader Kim Jong-un, sharply criticized South Korea for failing to stop defector activists from producing anti-North Korea leaflets. The White House and State Department did not immediately comment on the North Korean statements.
Disturbing practice that's coming to light right here in our country. Our Fox affiliate in San Diego is reporting that Mexican cartels are using apps like TikTok, Snapchat, and Instagram to recruit American teenagers to try and engage in human smuggling and help the cartels. The U.S. Border Patrol said it is doing what it can to try and counter this social media campaign.
Try and reach out to the communities and inform parents, grandparents about the dangers of smuggling and the fact that these criminal organizations are targeting young high school and college-age children.
So how do you stop the cartels from targeting your teen? Dan Hoff is with us, former CIA station chief and Fox News contributor. So Dan, what does it mean from an intelligence point of view when the cartels are, they're proficient like ISIS in using social media to attract supporters and indeed potentially help?
Yeah, so they see an opportunity in our wide open cyberspace to contact followers and to try to recruit individuals who could help them in their despicable mission. But really, make no mistake, this is a symptom as a result of our failed immigration policies. We can whack this mole, but others are going to spring up until we have a comprehensive immigration plan, which we are lacking at the moment, and we're also not taking it, in my opinion, with the seriousness with which we should.
We're seeing some videos there on the right of what they say are some of the examples.
And more than 3,600 deaths in the last 24 hours. But with hospitals and morgues completely full, people are... Across the world, COVID cases have reached a new peak. The devastating numbers are driven by India. Nearly 400,000 new cases and more than 3,600 deaths in the last 24 hours. But with hospitals and morgues completely full, people are dying at home and being cremated here. Their lives are not being officially counted.
When the cases started rising up, I thought government had a plan, but turns out they didn't. Within the first week, I understood that the governments have no idea. They're not prepared for anything.
International aid has started arriving from the U.S. Oxygen cylinders, PPE, and diagnostic testing. 150,000 vaccine doses from Russia. But for a country of 1.4 billion people, it will barely make a dent.
People are not dying because of the disease. People are dying because they are not getting medical care. That is sufficient reason to feel angry.
Starting Tuesday, flights will be restricted to the states from India. The move comes as the U.S. faces an entirely different reality. Cases now falling in more than 24 states. In Georgia, restrictions being lifted.
Personally, I'm excited about it.
Until we know that everyone is vaccinated and it's like truly safe out here for all of us, we'll continue to do what we have to do to keep others safe and ourselves safe.
Now, the good news with that Indian variant B1617, which has already been detected here in the UK and in multiple U.S. states, well, early data suggests that vaccines are working against that mutation. Now, the bad news for India, of course, is that vaccines administered today, this week, really aren't going to start saving lives for another couple of weeks. Willie?
Just devastating scenes out of India. Molly Hunter on this story for us in London. Molly, thanks so much.